Hey, you're the new kid here at Forks High School. You're Leonard, right?
Hey, yeah, that's me. I'm Leonard. This is my first day here.
Well, my name's Quinn. I'm pleasure to meet you, Leonard. And I've been assigned to show you around school here, make sure you're all settled and feeling comfortable. You just moved here with your dad?
Yeah, I just moved here with my dad. I wasn't really planning on this happening, but here I am. I'm just wondering where are all the forks?
Oh, no. It's actually, we were named after Joseph Forks, who committed a lot of war crimes during the Franco-Indian Wars. But we don't think about that so much anymore. This is a pretty normal town. It's pretty much like any other high school. On Fridays, everyone wears wacky colors to show their school spirit. And there's a lot of cool bike trails up in the forest that you can get used to. And what else should you know? Oh, everyone here has seen Twilight. Have you seen it?
Seen what?
Twilight, the 2008 romance vampire classic.
Oh, what was this like?
It's pretty popular.
Was this from a specific episode of the Twilight Zone? There's like
No. This is much better than that. This is a
better than Twilight Zone.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. But yes, it's definitely better. This is a film. It's a dramatic romance film about forbidden love between a 16-year-old girl and a 115-year-old boy. And it stars Robert Pattinson. Ever heard of him? And and
this has a lot of like pedophilia undertones, feelings.
No. It's different. It's cool because he still looks young. And it also stars who does it star?
Edward Furlong. Is he in the movie? He was a child star.
He's not in this one, unfortunately. It stars Kristen Stewart. My brain kept giving me Kristen Bell. That's crazy embarrassing considering we live in a town where everyone's seen Twilight. But anyway, you got to see it. In fact, I'm not just telling you as a lover of cinema. I'm telling you because you're kind of going to be a social outcast if you don't.
Okay. So you're telling me I have to watch a movie where a 16-year-old girl... How does this 16-year-old girl even meet this 100-year-old vampire?
He's just in the cafeteria. He's just hanging out. She sees him across the...
Was he like the principal or something?
No. He's a boy. He was converted into a vampire during the... I think he died from the... You know what, man? I'm due for a rewatch. He died from Spanish influenza, so he's been alive ever since, but his body still looks like young, tight Robert Pattinson. So it's all good.
So some older 100-year-old vampire fell in love with him and attacked him and made him a vampire when he was a 16-year-old boy?
Yeah, or something like that. You're thinking too much about it.
There seems to be a theme here.
You're thinking too much about it, man. Don't think so hard about it. Twilight's not a movie for thinking. It's a movie for feeling.
I just want to play field hockey. Okay, I just came here. I came to escape my town. Of Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yeah. Founded
by John Lynch, and he got the name John Lynch because he lynched a lot of people. He was a murderer, and he was a terrible person. And every Friday,
sounds like a real Joseph Forks.
And every Friday in my town, I don't even want to speak on it. It's okay. I'm happy to be here, but right now, I don't want to watch this movie Twilight. I don't want to do it.
Well, I got bad news for you, man. First of all, we don't play field hockey. We play vampire baseball. And second of all, you're going to have to watch the movie. In fact, there should be a signed DVD copy waiting for you on your front step when you get home.
Wait, that's what that was?
Yeah. Just pop that in your Blu-ray player and you're good to go.
Okay, but wait, if they're vampires, how are they playing baseball? Like, they can't be out during the day, right?
They can be out during the day. That's a common misconception. It's when it's foggy out, the sun doesn't shine through, and it's always foggy here in Forks. So, yeah, it's.
I don't know. It sounds like the person who made this movie was a little foggy. They were a little cloudy.
Don't you dare!
Mind.
Don't you dare talk that way about Stephanie Meyer. Okay, she is. We have a statue to her in our town, right next to Joseph Forks.
No, I don't know, man. I've never been a vampire guy. I've always been like, I don't know. I like maybe werewolves. Werewolves are cool.
Werewolves? Okay, well, I already can tell you're going to be Team Jacob. That doesn't come until the second movie, which you also have to watch. But yes, you will find that there are all sorts of werewolves. And
there's a second movie, and there are werewolves in it?
That's the best part, dude. There's like 5 movies, so you got a lot of viewing ahead of you.
Wait, there's 5 movies about a 16-year-old girl falling in love with a 100-year-old vampire and also a werewolf?
She falls in love with both intermittently. Her heart, they're both vying for her affection, yes. Listen, man, I'm just telling you, I'm just trying to give you an update, but like you're going to find out in 4th period, which is Twilight Studies.
Twilight Studies?
Yeah, it's the class devoted to Twilight, man.
What the hell? My dad gets transferred, and now I'm in some stupid town where they're obsessed with a movie? A terrible movie, it sounds like?
No, it's good.
I don't know, man. Like, I've only been on this earth for 15 years myself, and I know love is bullshit, okay? You're telling me someone who's been on this earth for over 100 years is still attracted to 16-year-olds and goes to school for hundreds of years?
Well, he's got to stay current on like new math and stuff. You know, he wants to make sure, history's happening every day. I don't know. Don't make me think about the logic.
Quinn,
okay, what's something you love? What's a movie you love, Leonard?
Quinn, do you like this movie, Twilight?
No, I don't. No, of course I don't like this movie, Twilight. No, okay, I know. I don't like it. It's stupid. It's bad, all right? But I live in Forks, Washington, and we have nothing else.
I knew it. I knew you didn't like Twilight.
Nobody likes it. Okay, literally nobody likes it. This whole town is cursed. Hello, vampires and werewolves, coming to you from Forks, Washington, in Burbank, California. This is the Film versus Film podcast, bonus episode. I am your host, Quinn Boys, and I have been thoroughly punished. I watched Twilight this week, and as a punishment for losing season 2 of the podcast, and I am joined reluctantly by the victor of season 2, Leonard Smith Jr.
Mortal Kombat Fatality. That's motherfucking right. It's your season 2 champ, Leonard Smith Jr. And yes, I'm doing this voice to mock Quinn for his loss of season 2 and watching this terrible movie Twilight. God damn, that movie sucks. Woo! Glad I didn't have to watch it.
You are your own hype man, Leonard. You can only get so much mileage out of that Mortal Kombat sound that you do with your voice. You sound a little hoarse there on the Mortal Kombat. You all right? Do you need a lozenge?
I just wasn't trying to spike the mic. I wasn't trying to do too much.
Yeah, keep the levels. Be confident. Be mindful of the levels. Yeah, this movie was bad. For anyone who doesn't know, if you're just listening to this episode, that's weird. But I lost season 2 of our competitive movie podcast, Film versus Film, and as a punishment, I take my punishment.
The OG Film versus Film, the OG,
the original,
Film versus Film.
The American. as a man of his word, I watched Twilight, and I also streamed it on our Film versus Film Pod Twitch channel. I think I may have gotten us kicked off for streaming a full movie, but
we now have a Twitch channel, guys.
We're
no one cared when I streamed Green Lantern because no one gives a fuck about that. But Twilight, they're still making money somehow. So
yeah, you're right. Nobody did flag the Green Lantern stream, but they didn't shut me down midstream, which I am appreciative of. I was able to successfully. If they shut me down, I would have turned the movie off and been like, Leonard, there's nothing I can do, man. Sorry, I put it on. We rented it, and I'm out. But so they could have done me a solid, really. But no, unfortunately, I was able to watch the whole thing. with the help and commentary at times from my girlfriend Corey, and who is a big fan of Twilight, it turns out, or at least when she's drinking. And I suffered through the 2 hours of young adult vampire romance. I felt weird watching it, you know?
Yeah. You were louder than the actual movie, so I could still hear it somewhat, so I wasn't truly into it. And I also was just like commenting a lot on what I was hearing in your commentary. So I wasn't truly paying attention. I was maybe like 20% paying attention, and I still was hating every single moment of it. It was fucking awful. I have never seen the movie.
Yeah, neither had I.
I had no reason to see the movie. It looks fucking awful to me. The whole premise sounds awful to me, and I always thought that. So I could be wrong. People have told me that I'm wrong. But
Nope.
The little bit that I did watch, it was fucking bad. And surprisingly, over the past few weeks of us like promoting you having to watch this, I've gotten a few people being like, this is not a punishment, or this isn't a bad movie, or you could have chosen something. What? I don't.
Should we put any of those people on blast, Leonard? Do you have?
Oh, well, I'll for sure put one person on blast.
I think I know who you're talking about because I saw
Rod Benson.
Rod, what the season 1 finale, and my close personal friend because he gave me the W and helped me win that season.
I should be a 2-time champ right now.
Rod
fucking
Benson
snakes on
loves Twilight.
Yeah, it makes sense why, because he chose fucking snakes on a plane. So it makes sense now. Like, I don't. What can he see in this movie?
Well, let's talk about that more generally. I don't want to. This was a little bit like our last bonus episode where we talked about Mamma Mia and Batman Forever. Those movies are not good, but they're also not aspiring to be high art. So there's a little bit of like, it's not really that fun to like kick a movie that's not trying to be anything more than what it is. And I think Twilight could apply to that. Like, part of me was like, you know, okay, this movie's going to be kind of trashy, but so are all kind of like YA romances. And I don't mean that even derisively. I genuinely think like you're just trying to like satisfy some horny teens, or more charitably, some love-struck teens. But this movie was so
Go ahead,
dull
sorry.
and boring. Like, I genuinely don't think I was 17 years old when this came out in 2008, and so I fully missed the Twilight train. But I remember it going right by me because
I don't know. I feel like that'd be a pretty good time. I feel like 17 is a great time.
It's a great time, maybe if
Twilight
you're
train.
more into that genre, which I never have been. But I guess I mean it was. Yeah, you're right. It was a great time to see the train going by, but like, I was never going to get on board. And in fact, it was, you know, trendy at the time. Everyone was like, Team Jacob, Team Edward, blah, blah, blah. Or you were like, fuck Twilight. I'm not getting involved in that. I'm a Harry Potter guy. And that was like a weird binary because those two things have nothing to do with each other. But like, I just remember like opting out. And so I'm not trying to be a hater on it, but I was like, no, I don't need to see this. It's all good. And so being forced to watch it made me kind of become a hater, because I was perfectly happy living on the margins, living outside of this movie existing, and just being like, people like it, they can do their thing. But it was not even that fun of like a hate watch. Actually, there were some times where it was a fun hate watch. The more I drank, the more I enjoyed it. But like, at no point was I like, well, this is kind of good. Like, nothing about it was appealing to me.
Yeah, I got really high before we started it, and yeah, it was boring. The first 45 minutes, it's like the slowest fucking build up. And I guess what, she was living with her mom or something, and her mom had to go do something.
She had to move. She moved from, I think, Phoenix, Arizona to Forks, Washington, because her mom remarried. Her parents are divorced, and her dad lives in Forks, so that's why she moved to live with her dad. Her mom remarried a minor league baseball player, and she's going on the road with him, which we're baseball fans, Leonard. Would you like minor league baseball is and it doesn't say he's a coach or a manager. So this is like a guy who's, I mean, Bella is like in her teens. Her mom is probably, you know, late 30s, early 40s, and maybe her husband is younger, and that's fine. But like, minor league baseball is like for young people, like fresh out of college. You play minor league baseball, you try to crack the majors, and some people stick into their late 20s and 30s. But the idea that she's like, all right, let me uproot my life and just go small town to small town with you while my daughter moves across the country made zero sense to me. And that was the least of it. But yeah.
That's the least of it. That's crazy. That makes me hate this movie 100 times more. She, as at least between a 34 to 42-year-old woman.
Yeah, just from like seeing her in the movie. Yeah.
Uprooting her life. Shipping her 16-year-old daughter when she only has like a couple more years of her daughter's teen
so close to
years.
Yeah.
Shipping her across the country, I'm assuming, to live with her father. For a fucking minor league baseball. This motherfucker better be like 19 years old and the first pick.
And Bryce Harper.
And that's the like minor league baseball.
It makes
even
no
if it was
sense.
a major league baseball player, it wouldn't make sense.
That's what I was saying. Even if it was a major league baseball player, the way that it typically works is because the ball players travel with the team. So you're not even traveling with your husband unless you want to like rent a van and drive behind the
and
bus.
Families
you have a home.
Yeah, they do travel to games, to away games, and we'll see their family, like, because sometimes they're on a long like schedule for his like a road schedule where they're away from the stadium for multiple games. But like, no one is going from city to city, especially not in fucking baseball.
This guy better be on the Yankees by the end of the season. That's all I can say. That she's putting in a lot of commitment to this.
He's probably not, because there's hella career minor league baseball players where they spend their entire career in the minor league.
And he
baseball.
seems like such a person. Yeah,
those motherfuckers make like $70,000 a year.
I know.
Now
it's so wild.
I'm not saying that's a decent amount of money.
Well, I think you overshot it, by the way, and I'm not. Of course, like, you're chasing the dream of.
I'm like, that's maybe the average, or like.
I'm just saying, it
makes
that's
no
the
sense
most
to
you
throw
can
away
make.
your
to uproot yourself and go travel with your. I don't get it.
Who allowed this to happen? They could have come up with. I guess that's what it was in the book, but also who allowed that to happen in the book?
It seems like a person who doesn't, and no worries, but it seems like a person who doesn't know baseball and is like, her mom married a baseball player and she travels with a baseball player, but it's like, this is a little bit more rustic and down home, so he's not on the Diamondbacks, he's a minor leaguer. And it's like, okay, but like, you'd never travel with that person. Let's spend the whole podcast talking about this one point, Leonard. I'd appreciate that.
I'm upset about it. It's okay. Because that makes no logical sense.
If you're listening to this podcast and you have uprooted your family and shipped away any children to follow your minor league ball playing significant other, please let us know if that is a normal thing. We could be totally wrong on this, but it just struck me as the first sign that something was deeply wrong when I was watching this movie.
Yeah. DM me, please. D. Leonard Smith Jr. I need to know.
Please. It didn't get better once we got to Forks, where we meet Bella's dad, who's a chief of police.
Yeah, cop?
He's definitely a cop.
God,
I don't know if he's a chief of police.
Cop?
Yeah.
Oh, blah.
Yep. He's a cop, but he's a cop, and so we're going to just jump all around in this movie. Presumably, if you're listening to this, you've seen it or you don't care that much about the plot. But Bella falls in love with Edward, the young vampire who's actually 115 years old. They have a romantic relationship, but their love is forbidden. He cannot turn her, and they cannot be together, and he wants to suck her blood, but also he loves her, and eventually they have to save her from some rival vampires. And now, going back to her dad, the rival vampires we meet fairly early on, Edward and his family, and family is a loose term here of just like the collective of vampires who have turned each other and are living as one family. They're, a blended family, so to speak. But there are rival vampires who have been on their turf.
Rival families?
Yeah, like three of them. There's like two guys.
Oh, so now we like gang culture, huh?
Yeah. Oh, it's big gang time. There's a big. We'll get to the vampire baseball, but
hypocrites.
So they are Edward's family. They're respectful vampires. This is like an old tired trope. I remember Brad Pitt. His character had this in Interview with the Vampire, but same with Edward and co. They do not kill humans. They feast on animal blood. So in the first scene, we see them tackling and presumably killing a deer. That's how they survive. This rival faction of vampires, as vampires do, they drink the blood of humans. And so we see a couple early on, like a security guard at some place getting mauled and killed, and they always cut away before you actually see what happens. You never actually see anyone bite anyone's neck in this movie.
Wow, that's trash.
Oh, actually, maybe in the Edward flashback, but you don't really see like fangs go in. I'm not saying I
Very
needed
trash.
it. I'm just saying if it's a vampire movie, you know, if it's a Frankenstein movie, I want to see some bolts in the neck. If it's a vampire movie, let's see the fangs. But
I saw the security guard scene where like he's just being hunted all of a sudden, and that shit did not make any, because it was just like dull school moment. Oh my god, I'm staring at Edward because he's so handsome, and I just look at him and I fall in love. And
are you speaking for yourself or for Bella?
And then it just cuts to fucking this dude just being chased out of nowhere, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah, well, the scene, it's shot very kind of shakily, and that's intended. But what made me laugh after that was, so the dad, maybe he's not the chief of police, but he's a cop, and it's a small town, so he's one of the few cops there, probably just busting kids for marijuana or scaring all the non-white people out of town. But he gets alerted, and they like check out the crime scene, but then they're like, well, this guy has been eviscerated, it was an animal. And then later his dad, like, it happens a couple times, and his dad was like, well, we got to catch this animal. I'm like, what are you, animal control? Like, are you a cop, or are you like, do you think it's not, obviously none of them know that vampires exist. So it's like, if it's an animal,
but how?
Then you need to catch someone to catch the bear that you think this is. And if it's people, then you need a lot more than just this one cop. You got a serial killer on your hands. Like, they have no level of alarm. They're like, it's either an animal or something much, much, much worse. And we're just going to send this one cop.
Nope, it's just an animal, and an animal alone.
I mean, presumably, because there were 3 people feeding on him, they probably did tear through him like an animal. He's probably bitten all up and stuff. They never show it, but
how is this new to them if vampires are all around here and they've been here for hundreds of years?
Well, I don't know, but also they mentioned.
Wait, and this one, can the vampires like make people forget shit and stuff like that? Do they have like some type of like magical power, magical aura to it?
Edward can read minds. That's one of the things that draws him to Bella. He can't read her mind, but he can read pretty much everyone else's. I don't know that they...
So that's the only reason why he loves her, is because he can't read her mind.
Oh, and her blood is like heroin, Leonard. You missed the scene where he says, your blood is like heroin to me. The first scene where he meets her, he's like her lab partner, and she sits down next to him, and he spends the whole time like convulsing, like someone who's like... I'm not trying to be like tee-hee or whatever, but like he truly looks constipated. Like he truly, I don't know what the acting motivation was. I think both Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart have come out and been like, yo, don't judge us for these Twilight movies. We don't care. Like, we don't know what we're doing. But like, it's not a great look for our guy, future Batman, Robert Pattinson. He's just sort of sitting there like shaking, and then he just like stands up and leaves.
Yeah, because he's a really good actor. But
he is good. Not in this.
Nah. I thought he was like the way I remember watching, I was like, damn, she smelled bad. Like it looked like she either ripped a big fart, or like she just smelled like sweaty butt.
That was it. He kind of looked like he was maybe himself trying to hold in a fart, or trying not to make any reaction to her farting. There were no farts involved. He just could smell her blood, and it was intoxicating to him, and he couldn't read her mind,
heroin,
which was scary to him. Yeah, he said he was like a huge addict, and her blood is like the finest heroin or something, which is like, cool, bro.
So
we've all tried to get laid before, all right, but that's a new one.
Her blood specifically? Or?
Yeah, they never really say why, but like something about her blood. She's got that good blood.
So that's the only reason why he loves her, is a physical reaction.
Well, it certainly couldn't have been the conversations, because when he finally does open up to her, they have some of the creepiest, like weirdest, like this is an abusive relationship, get out conversations on film. It's a very strange, like, he's just like, I shouldn't have to protect you. He saves her from a near crash in the school parking lot. He does a Superman thing. He like runs up next to her, and then he puts his hand out and he like dents the car that would have squished her. And then he's like, why do I have to protect you? Blah, blah, blah. Like it's real incel type behavior. And then she, of course, because this movie is bad, is like, I need to know why this guy doesn't want me. Why is he not interested in me? Why is he ignoring me? I gotta, and so like they're both very toxic. And eventually she does a little bit of Googling. That's another fun part where she plays like an intrepid reporter and she just Googles like literally there's a scene where she's Googling like doesn't like light like and it's like the Google's like I don't know fuck maybe he's a vampire and so she like follows him out into the woods and she's like you're a vampire and he goes yeah and then he starts showing her by just flitting around to different parts of the forest. Like he's like, I'm on a tree branch. And he's like, now I'm behind this trunk. And he's like, now I'm up in here.
Bro, this sounds so fucking bad.
I asked my girlfriend, I was like, why doesn't he just show her he can fly? And she goes, vampires don't fly. I'm like, what the fuck? Like vampires fly. It's like, no, they're really fast. He's basically got like Superman's powers, except he is dead and drinks blood. Except, well, actually Superman can also fly.
Yeah, and he can be out in the daylight. And this motherfucker, it took these motherfuckers, it must have been an animal. And she just Googled for like 5 minutes and was like, he's a vampire.
Yeah, sensitivity to light.
She was there for like 2 days and she saw some like out of pocket, not like, what?
It's also,
and she instantly just realized that there's vampires. Like, how does the police chief who's been living there not know there's vampires?
It's also in this like QAnon society we live in where like you see something unusual that you can't immediately explain and then you go to Google and then Google's like fuck I don't know is it this and then you're like that's what it is the election was stolen like you just jump to the like she just jumps to vampire and she's correct. But yeah, no, I think they make some half-ass excuse like they're always moving around and like they've been in Forks, Washington before, but they wound up coming back because they never age. So Edward, they can only stay in places for a certain amount of time before people start to realize.
He can play himself and then he can come back and play his great grandson.
Or like the town gets, the town is old. People in the town get old enough that they can come back as different people. They phase out. I don't know what that period is. I'd love to know the period where you're like, okay, we can re-enter society. But
I know, but now with like fucking vampires would be fucked now. Because everything's on fucking online.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, all right, I see what you looked like at this age. Yeah. You haven't aged a bit, motherfucker. Like, it's all here. Vampires wouldn't be able to have Instagram pages. That would suck.
Oh, yeah. That would be... They'd be like scrolling through their grid, and it's like, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. But like, there's a lot of things they can't do, Leonard. But one of my favorite, I was having this argument with Corey, was why would you go to school? Like, you're going to be, because she goes, well, they can start earlier if they go to high school. And it's like, well, why don't you just be like, we're homeschooled, motherfuckers. Like, why do you need to go to school to interact with people? You're setting yourself up for, first of all.
What earlier?
The clock on when they have to eventually move on. Like if they go to high school, then they can then go to be in college and then they can be in their 20s and it'll be quite a while before people realize they don't age. But it's like, okay, but like, why don't you just be 19 instead of 17?
What
Is it saving that much time?
Like a 34?
Do you hate moving that much?
So wait, were all the vampires young or something?
They're all the age that they were when they were turned.
But were all of them young? Were any of them older? Like,
they are, I think, all or at least mostly high school age. Yeah, there's that scene where they all walk into the cafeteria together. So yeah. So how are they all teenage vampires? First of all. Oh no, you know what? One of them is older. He's the doctor at the hospital, so he must be like 20s or 30s. I don't know. It's hard to tell. They're all so pale. It's hard to.
So basically, this family of vampires travels around the country not to be recognized and then turns other high school children into vampires and then force that then 16-year-old body in physical form to be like that forever and then continually adding more 16-year-olds to the group.
Yes, except I don't think they are actively looking to turn anybody. They're just trying to live their life, whatever. Like the reason
they just happen to fall in love with the people that are around them.
Then
teenagers.
You gotta do what you gotta do. But Corey was trying to like explain away the pedophilia nature of a 115-year-old dating a 16-year-old by saying, well, when you're turned, and this is I think maybe true in the books and maybe they talk about it in later movies. But it's like when you're turned, your body doesn't just stay the same age, but emotionally, like you always stay 17. And it's like, I'm not buying that. That sounds like a real good legal defense when you get brought up on charges. But
whoever wrote this book just like really had a terrible high school experience and wants to be able to go back and relive it or some shit.
Yeah, I think there's some like biblical overtones to. I certainly like the kind of chastity element. The fact that they can never, have sex is a little bit like,
Wait, hold on, what?
They can't have sex, Leonard.
Why they can't have sex?
What do you think he's shooting? He's not shooting it. Actually, no. I think they do have sex later. There's something about having sex with a vampire, or you'll die, or it'll put a demon baby in you, or something.
Wait, what?
They can't have sex. Their passions would.
But if she was a vampire, they could have sex.
Sex is like a metaphor in the movie for like drinking her blood, obviously. But there is also a scene where she's like, come on, baby, I want you, and he's like, I can't, and they don't. I didn't really get much more out of it than that, but no, they can't have sex.
Oh, well, maybe if he had sex, he knew he would probably bite her.
I'm getting a text from Corey in the other room. They can have sex. It would just hurt. Well, that's less interesting than if they can't have sex.
Because he couldn't move his body slow enough. It'd be too fast, probably.
I don't know.
I don't even want to go there. I don't even want. Oh my goodness, this is.
They shouldn't have sex. I mean, he's 100.
I will literally destroy your vagina.
He's 115 years old. If he's already in a moral gray area, but they should not be having sex. It's going to help your legal case if you don't consummate the thing.
It also makes it. It kind of makes it weirder.
I'm being informed that we're getting a lot wrong, but I don't I don't particularly care. Leonard, do you want to come clean? You bailed on this movie. When I gave you Green Lantern, I sat there and watched the entire stream of you watching Green Lantern, but you couldn't take it. You gave me this
bro,
movie
I couldn't take it. It was fucking awful, bro. And it was just like very like quiet and dark and slow and boring. And I was just like I was like, I'm getting punished.
It's shot.
Quinn lost.
Yeah.
Quinn lost season 2. Leonard didn't lose season 2. Quinn deserves.
No, it's your prerogative. It's your prerogative. What did you watch instead? What did you do instead?
I watched Training Day. I was like, bro, fuck this.
Son of a bitch.
I just like put it on Netflix. Me and my roommate were watching, and I was just like, man, I can't do this. And I put it on Netflix. And Training Day was like up there trending or something. And I was like, oh. And he's like, I had seen it before, but I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't remember. I was like, oh, shit, let's go.
King Kong ain't got nothing on Twilight, Leonard.
Training Day, I guess maybe it has some similarities to it. New girl at a new school, cop on his first day at his new job as a undercover narcotics agent.
Talk about fuck the police. Yeah.
Yeah. Cops, fuck the cops, and taking things from people and shit like that. I don't know.
And also, I think there's that scene where Denzel bites Ethan Hawke's neck, and he turns him into a bad cop. Yeah,
you actually see someone bite someone's neck in this movie.
This shit is not optional. Whatever he says to.
You like to get wet, huh?
Yeah, I wish Twilight was half as entertaining as Training Day. Unfortunately, talk about two movies that shouldn't be compared. So there's not a ton of plot in this movie. Once they get together, they kind of get together, and then they're playing vampire baseball out in a field. You missed that part, didn't you?
I did miss that part, but I have seen like a TikTok or an Instagram video or something of someone during the quarantine who made a reenactment video of like things they had in the house.
Oh, cool.
Of that. And I found that pretty entertaining, but I just, cause it was like side to side, shot for shot. And, good Lord, that fucking scene looked stupid as fuck.
Yeah. Again, we come back to baseball. Baseball is, I think, one of the strongest recurring themes in this movie, but, they're like, Bella goes to meet the family, and then, I think she like cuts her hand or something happened. I don't know. Something like the family isn't that hot on her, but like, they're like, let's go play baseball. I don't exactly remember how it happened, but they wind up in a field in the middle of the forest, like an open field. And
how many people are in this family?
Oh, they don't have a full squad. They can't even play. They couldn't even field one team. I think they got like 7 people maybe.
Okay.
But you make it work. Invisible runner, 2 people manning the outfield, So they go to play, and they're all wearing like these old timey baseball uniforms, like these old pinstripes. Like at some point, they probably sucked dry the 1912 New York Highlanders and just stole their uniforms. And they're playing baseball, and it's like, they hit the ball and it goes super fast, super far, and then Bella's like, "That's definitely a home run." But then it's like Edward just runs as fast as he can and catches it. And I was watching it. My brother was on the stream, and he's like, "Why don't they set the bases further apart?" I'm like,
Yeah, they're playing on a regulation.
That's true. Why are they
baseball
playing
field.
regulation? Like, you should set the one base is in Washington and the other one is in Oregon. Like, I don't understand why they're playing on a regulation field when they hit the ball 600 feet every time.
Yeah, wasn't he running in the woods, like in between trees to go catch the ball and shit? It's like, what?
And so they're playing baseball, and then this is back to that gangs thing that you were talking about, Leonard. The rival gang shows up, and they're like, "You playing baseball?" Because that's what gangs. Listen, that's what gangs do. They see you're playing baseball in my territory, and now we're gonna come. And literally, Leonard, they are about to play a game against that. Like, they're about to be like,
I'm just going to say this right now. The baseball bat with the whole mob mentality and gang mentality has been misconstrued. They are coming from playing a game of baseball. Okay, that's all it is.
not since Warriors has baseball and gangs been so closely intertwined. But they're literally about to just like play a game, and then one of them smells Bella. She does stink, Leonard. She has a funk about her. One of them smells Bella, and the jig is up. They're
sweet
like,
hair on.
They're like, "She's not a human." And so then they're like, "Well, let's go." And so they never play, or I'm sorry, she's not a human. She's not a vampire. And so they're like, the jig is up, and they're like, "Okay, Bella, let's get out of here." And then like Robert Pattinson takes her in his car, and they drive away. And they're like, "We have to take you to Phoenix because that's where your mom lived. And we're going to take you to Phoenix so the bad vampire can't find you, but the bad vampire does find him." And then they kill the bad vampire.
Wait. Phoenix, Arizona?
Yeah, that's where Bella's from originally.
Bright ass and a cloud in the motherfucking sky, Phoenix, Arizona?
I think that's the logic, is that if they take her to Phoenix, she won't, the vampire won't come after her. Also, Leonard, I don't think we talked about, they don't die in the sunlight like most vampires. They sparkle. That's a famous joke about Twilight. You've heard that before, right?
I've heard of it, and it's also it's infuriating.
It's really just it's more than a minor inconvenience, but compared to bursting into flames and ceasing to exist, it's really not as bad as typical vampire lore. It just makes it impossible to be inconspicuous when you're shining like, like a disco ball. I guess maybe the vampire could get her in Arizona then.
So once again, how does the chief of police not know what vampires are if this has been seen, or like
he's way behind? Are you kidding? No, this guy is so many steps behind. She has to like.
Okay, so they're like, we just gonna be shiny as fuck out here in Phoenix, Arizona, and hopefully nobody stabs us in the chest because they then realize we're vampires.
Yeah, just runs a spike into our chest. Yeah,
and also, so Bella just has this crazy blood that all vampires want. Like, why would these rival vampires? There are hella humans around. Why do they want Bella?
This one?
What's so special about Bella?
Let me text Corey and find out. I truly don't know.
This just sounds like some woman, because a woman wrote this, right? Or was it a man?
I'm not sure who wrote the movie, but Stephanie Meyer wrote the book on which it's based. So yeah,
okay.
A woman wrote it.
Sounds like this lady wrote this movie and was like, I wish I had a better high school experience, and like every other human in the history of time, I want to feel important, and I guess want to be, I don't know about this part, but want to be 17 forever and be in love, and here's this stupid movie about it.
Yeah, I mean,
told through the story of vampires. And
don't we all want to be 17 forever, Leonard? Wouldn't you like to be emo Leonard forever?
Fuck no, man. 17 Leonard sucked, bro. I was like super self-conscious and like loud and like just dumb.
I texted Corey. I said,
I was fun.
I texted Corey. She's in the other room. And I said, why does the bad guy vampire want Bella's blood so much? That was your question. Why doesn't he just fuck off and like kill someone else? And then she sent me the shrug emoji. And then she said, it smells extra good. Like, this is the logic on which this movie is based.
Girl, you smell good, girl. She smells good. Take her to Phoenix.
It's like everyone who smells her kind of gets like, well, not everyone, but Robert Pattinson, Edward, and the bad guy, they get like in heat. It's like a weird. This movie is all sorts of like weird, fucked up sexual stuff.
Yeah.
While also being very chaste and very like, you know, there's no skin in this movie. All the skin is in this movie is like it sparkles. It's all inferred sexual stuff, but then there's a lot of really kinky, like, you know, I need your blood, it's my heroin, like, which just makes me feel like I need to take a shower. So, you know, it's wild. And what do you?
Oh man, I'm sorry. I just got distracted. I have two roommates. One of my roommates is back home in Maryland, and he'll be back on Saturday, and he just sent a text to our little group chat. Earlier, he sent me a snap of him. It's like, I'm bringing 007 back. Like, yeah, the 007 for 64.
James Bond 007 for 64? GoldenEye?
Yeah, he's bringing it back. He also is bringing back Donkey Kong 64. Now we can give you your Smash Bros back, because he also is bringing Smash Bros.
Sweet.
Looks like he's bringing a Sega, maybe? But what I'm super excited about is he's bringing a fucking Nintendo Wii.
Ooh.
I tried to buy a Nintendo Wii during fucking quarantine, and there are like none in the city. And I don't like buying things online, and I don't trust, like, I feel like I could get a broken Wii and buy like some used Wii. So
you don't want a broken Wii.
Yeah, man. You know all those videos where people be like throwing the disc into the Wii, or like, have you seen the video like this dude?
Oh,
like,
I'm afraid of it. I'm terrified of breaking my Wii.
Yeah, there's people like made a game of like like you just stand the Wii up and you try to throw a DVD or a game into the Wii, and I'm like, they're probably just fucking that Wii up.
Don't try to slice my Wii with a DVD. So this conversation trying to find the plot of Twilight is so boring. Leonard is.
Let's just we're done. Okay,
we're done.
Fuck this movie.
Okay, well,
no, we're not done. We're gonna do the 5 categories.
I think we're wrapping.
We're gonna do the five categories.
Well, let's run through the 5 categories, because I have a question for you after this.
Okay. Number 1 category, pop culture.
Huge.
This
pop
movie
culture.
has huge pop culture influence. The fact that I know about the whole stupid ass fucking sparkling shit, and that there's Team Jacob and Team Edward, and I guess that's really, and the fact that I've seen that stupid ass baseball scene, you know.
And this movie essentially gave us, obviously they'd been in other things, so it didn't break either of them, but for all intents and purposes, it gave us like Robert Pattinson.
It made the movie stars
and Kristen Stewart. It made the movie stars.
Not your other boy though, not the werewolf.
Taylor Lautner, not quite as lucky, but it made the rest of them big stars. And
that fucking wig he had on, good lord. Awful.
Oh yeah. I think there was one shot where she's standing next to Edward, or she's standing next to Jacob, and it looks like they're wearing the same wig. Like, I don't know if Kristen Stewart is wearing a wig in this movie, but he has like the same hair as Bella. I'm like, did they have like an alt Bella wig that they just threw on Jacob? It was weird. Pop culture, huge pop culture. This movie was the, whether ironically or sincerely, this was the like love story for a lot, kind of my generation, for a lot of people.
Sad. I feel bad for all of you.
Well, obviously more of a Titanic guy.
Nostalgic
myself.
Well, I feel bad for you as well.
Give me Kate and Leo over Edward and Bella any day of the week. Does it hold up? No. I mean, like, it's bad. No. Bad is evergreen, but I think a lot of like the stuff, like the weird relationship element of it, we talked about the age difference, but also just like, even if he was like a normal 16-year-old, the way that these people talk to each other is very toxic and not good. The 2 men fighting over Bella storyline that progresses through the sequels is not good. It's
what 115-year-old man is going to be out here fighting over a 16-year-old?
He's emotionally 16.
Or any person. I can maybe see them fighting over another member of their vampire family that they've been with for hundreds of years or whatever. But like,
I want the human girl. Was Gary Oldman
And wait,
in this movie? No, but he certainly could have been. I think he could have been like a really good. Oh no, actually, he's totally Bella's dad. He's already got the mustache from the Batman movies. I think he's Bella's dad all the way. Or the umpire at
Taylor,
the baseball.
The Jacob. He's a teenage werewolf.
The Jacob. Yeah, he's Wolfman. He's Michael J. Fox, Alex P. Keaton.
So he's actually Teen Wolf.
It'd be hilarious if there was just if it was an aside that he was like played basketball, like he was just Teen Wolf.
That would have been hilarious.
He's not a werewolf in this movie. That comes later. You got to watch the sequels for that, Leonard.
Good Lord, I didn't know there was 5 movies. He's not even a fucking werewolf in the first fucking movie.
It's all set up, baby. It's all set up. They hint at it. Box office? I guess we should go over the box office. This movie was a hit. It was a hit, and I think it was kind of a surprising hit. I don't think they expected it to do like quite as well as it did when they were making it. And then obviously it kind of became a phenomenon. It made the books that much more popular. It just had young, hot people. So, I mean, I think it's pretty easy. Yeah, wow. This movie was made...
Hot?
Well, I mean, people go gaga for Robert Pattinson. Or you're saying because they're cold, because they're vampires, or what? I think people were into Kristen Stewart as well. Taylor Lautner. I'll give them all their due.
Sure.
This movie was made for $37 million. Guess how much it made?
Jesus fucking... Okay, wait. No, that's the box office for all the movies, the Twilight saga.
Yeah, but don't look. Guess how much the first movie made. It was made for $37 million.
I think is it 37 million?
You think it just made its money back?
Yeah. No, it didn't.
It made $407 million, Leonard.
Good fucking... Oh, 400... Oh,
$407 million box office.
Good Lord.
That is, I assume, worldwide. That's huge for $37 million.
37 million. Wait, bro. No. I'm seeing... Oh, wait. Is it the New Moon? Is that the second one or the first one?
No, the first one's just Twilight. New Moon is the sequel, I guess.
Okay, never mind.
It's one of
the second one also made a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, these movies were a phenomenon.
Over the 5 movies, it made $3.46 billion. $3,346 million.
Crazy.
And they spent $401 million on all 5 movies. They got more and more expensive.
That's how it goes. But let's see. So box office, that's unassailable. But Rotten Tomatoes, what do you think the tomato meter is? Do you think it's fresh?
No fucking way.
It's not fresh, but it's not as far off as you'd think. It's 49%. So pretty evenly split reviews.
I'll accept it because there's a lot of fucking people out there. Wait, is that is that the critics?
Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not doing your Google. I'm not doing your Google ratings.
Is it the critics or is it the audience?
Audience score 73%. That's a lot of fucking people out there that you're thinking.
No fucking way.
Critic consensus says, having lost much of its bite transitioning to the big screen, Twilight will please its devoted fans, but do little for the uninitiated. Oh, how wrong you were. Yeah.
This movie's so bad, I'm not even enjoying your punishment episode.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying it. If I have to do it, you have to do it. All right, let's wrap it up. 5. I'm going to ask you 5. Leonard, you gave me a few options. You let me pick.
I did.
But I'm not interested in the movies I didn't pick. I want to know, in so much as you at least gave it to me as an option, why did you give me this movie to watch? Because I knew why I gave you Green Lantern. It's because you said you loved Green Lantern and you'd never seen this movie because you heard it was bad and you didn't want to see it ever. And I said, I want to make you break your promise. Why'd you make me watch Twilight?
Because I knew that it was a bad movie and I personally never wanted to watch it, for sure. I've never proclaimed that, but I don't.
You shouted it from the rooftops. I will not watch Twilight.
Yeah, and I just know a lot of people like it for some reason.
Yeah.
And I feel like you had mentioned it or said something about it.
Corey is into these movies, I think, a little bit ironically.
Yeah, I think you said something about her being into it, or you were talking about the movie she was trying to get you to watch or something like that. So that popped in my mind. Because you said something about A Walk to Remember.
Yeah.
You said something about Twilight.
I
knew A Fault in My Stars was going to be the one if I beat you in the last episode.
Right.
You were gonna be forced to watch
I
that.
feel like probably I should have watched The Fault in Our Stars. I think I gave myself a worse punishment.
You think so? Oh, that makes me happy because honestly, enough people were like, "Oh, that's not that bad," or "That's not a punishment." And I was like, "Oh, damn!" And then I was like, "Man, I could have gave him a better movie because Green Lantern was fucking awful."
It's just, yeah, I would probably put this movie. Green Lantern's pretty bad. I mean, I'd say they're in like the same shit tier, but a lot of people are going to disagree with us, and that's totally fine. I'm hoping that we made our case. You don't have a case to make. You stopped watching it, but like there just wasn't very much for me. But me now, the 30-year-old skeptical
but who is that
male viewer is probably not the target audience. So I'm
yeah. There's nothing for anyone in that movie.
Oh, there's
Quinn.
something for some
it's
people.
Boring, man.
$407 million.
It's weird.
Robert Pattinson takes his shirt off. I don't know. There's something for somebody.
Teenagers. Oh man, I can't believe I was a teenager.
I can't believe you were a teenager either. Well, this has been a painful recap. But I will say, much like Edward sucking the venom out of Bella to prevent her from dying at the end of Twilight and saving her life, I feel that the bile of this punishment of losing season 2 has been extracted from my body, and I am rejuvenated. I have a new life. There's a new moon rising, and I am ready to come back to you, at you, for season 3 with the ledgers are even again. You have nothing over me anymore.
I'll be reigning champion. I'm excited for season 3. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Gonna have some good, some interesting guests. Obviously, some new prompts. Some cool stuff coming up in season 3. But it'll still be, I think, largely the same. 2 idiots fighting about movies as it has been. So I'm looking forward to continuing that.
Some things, but now that we have a guest, maybe we'll bring some things back. Maybe we'll add some new things. You guys tell us. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? I'm excited though.
Yeah, DM Leonard about minor league baseball moms and things you want to see in Film versus Film season 3.
Minor league baseball players listening. Also, have you ever had a spouse or a significant other like follow you around? I just want to know that too. City to city on the bus. They don't even fly. They
they literally take Greyhound buses to like the 6th biggest city in like Georgia. Like it's not glamorous. It's not a glamorous lifestyle.
What level minor league is like he in? Is he in single A, double A, triple A? Does he play for the Rome Braves?
They say minor league
for the Gwinnett Braves.
I'll assume that it's minor least and not independent league, like because that would be truly sad.
Yeah, but is it triple A? Triple A, you're going to be going to like, at least the 4th biggest size city in the state. Like single A, you're going to be in like the 6th, 7th biggest city in the goddamn state.
There's literally a scene where she's calling her mom, and they cut to her mom on the phone, and in the background is presumably her husband, just somebody in the indoor batting cages just taking hacks. And I'm like, this poor woman has no life of her own. She just is like, can I take batting practice with you? Can I go to can I?
So do you think that was like the writer
just like waiting patiently in the
jab?
locker room while he showers? It's like, give this woman an identity, please. I love baseball too. If you're not playing it, you don't want to live vicariously through somebody who's doing that. Anyway, I'm glad we circled back to our favorite topic.
I wonder if that was like a shot at her mom. Maybe her mom didn't spend enough time with her.
Clearly.
And she was dating some baseball players or something. I don't fucking know.
I was expecting her to like call and be like, Bella, great news. So-and-so went 2 for 3. He's getting called up to the next level. Like I hope each successive Twilight movie, it's like now he's double A, now he's in triple A. Oh, he got a cup of coffee in the majors. And then by the last movie he's an all-star.
Better be in every single movie.
Yeah, just in the background every time they talk to her mom, he's like winning the all-star game in the background.
Yeah. The final one, she's at the World Series.
Oh my God, Corey just texted me. She can hear me from the other room. It's never mentioned again. I am out on the Twilight movies.
All right, we're done.
We're not doing another Twilight movie.
Fuck
this. Okay?
Oh, my God.
Fuck that. All right. Well, this has been the bonus punishment episode of Season 2 Film versus Film. Thank you for bearing with us through this, whatever this was. We will see you in a little bit. We'll post on our channels when we're coming back for Season 3. But until then, thanks for listening, and see you at the cinema. You gonna get vaccinated, Leonard? Are you gonna go? Are we going to go to the cinema at some point?
Bro, I will be fully vaccinated next week. I am so ready to go to the movie.
It's fantastic. I'm telling them to put it directly in my neck, vampire style. See ya.